Bronny James playing his first, I guess, professional game, right? Summer League game in Sacramento for the LA Lakers Summer League team. And what I find to be interesting is, again, how we do what we do in the media. Like, you've clearly aligned with a side based upon much of the commentary. And as I've told you before, in politics and in life, I operate on the same premise. I am a radical centrist. Now, what does that mean? That means I don't feel like I need to always side with one side because that's what side I'm aligned with. I do what I think what I do, and I try and do what I believe to be the right thing on a daily basis, and sometimes I come up short. And when I took over this job, I love the idea of going to be in the portal, because the portal is all college basketball players and evaluating college players versus college players and levels of college basketball. Felt like I was pretty equipped for it. What I didn't know if I was equipped for is the evaluation of watching a high school player and what he'll look like in a year or 2 years or 3 years in college. And that's something I think it's kind of an art. But in terms of what a college player looks like as opposed to other college players, and what a college player looks like in his transition to the pros, I feel like I got a pretty good beat on it. So let me give you a radical centrist perspective of Bronny James' first game. It's called JAG. JAG, or a JAG. Okay, a JAG is just a guy. That's what Bronny James looked like. I know we can point to the stats and it's like, oh, he was bad. He was not great. Okay? But it wasn't because of the stats. It's because he's just kind of a guy. Now, LeBron has said, hey, I don't care about the stats. It's about the development. So what are you developing? What are you developing? What role will Bronny James have if he really, really wants to make it in the NBA? Here's LeBron doing a sit-down with ESPN talking about Bronny.
I don't know if people really understand Bronny. He doesn't care. I actually cared a little bit when I came in. I wanted people to like me, and some of the things that people were saying about me, it kind of bothered me early on in my career. I let it get to me. Bronny doesn't give a He doesn't. He does not care about nobody. He doesn't even listen to that stuff. He's like the complete opposite of his dad. His dad will say something. Yeah. Bronny does not care. Like me personally, when I was coming up, I had no choice. I literally had no choice. I had to make it out. Like I had no choice. I had to make it out for me, my mom, my family. Bronny has all the choices in the world. So it's like a whole nother, people don't understand how hard that is and the commitment. For him to be coming out of heart surgery less than a year ago, for him to be able to be in the NBA, the kid he's special, but he doesn't care. It doesn't bother him.
I understand, completely understand. And you have to have that sort of thick skin. And I actually agree with that, the premise of, hey, it can be hard to make it even when you have all these things at your disposal, because there's no reason for you to have to work hard. It just isn't. Like, if Bronny never plays basketball again, he's fine financially. Fine. Not just working for his dad on his own. So I actually do respect that. I think that's one that people roll their eyes at, and I would say, yeah, I get that. A little harder than people think. You're always compared to your dad. On the other hand, if you look at it a different way, it's that you're right. He doesn't play like he's trying to prove himself. He doesn't play with the hunger, with the anger, with the competitiveness that translates. That looks like, hey, you want to tell me you're a point guard? How about guarding the point guard? How about picking him up 94 feet? How about making life living hell on that guy? It's what so many people don't understand about basketball. You can have a really high-level high school defender come into college, and it's like the kid doesn't know what he's doing, because it's a different level and a different sport. Then you step up to the NBA, and it's even harder. And the roles change differently. If you're going to be 6'1.5", and you're going to play in the NBA, and you're a backup guard off the bench. When that ball goes in the basket and you're on offense and you switch to defense, you better be up and guarding 94 feet and pressuring and just being a nuisance. Jose Alvarado is the perfect example of it. You're always got head on a swivel and trying to figure out where he is, what's he doing before you go and do anything because you think Jose Alvarado is going to take this basketball from you. And Bronny just doesn't have that. Some of that is can be tiresome in terms of some of the hunger and need to get after it. It can lead to thirsty plays, if you will. But some of it, in truth, is what you need, and he doesn't have. Look, all of that stuff LeBron can say is great. He is a great kid. I don't care. I'm not evaluating based upon the type of human being he is. I'm evaluating the type of player he is, and he wants very little to do with any sort of the backup point guard duties, which include pushing the ball in transition, getting your team into something, okay, moving the basketball, and guarding 94 feet and really pressuring and being a nuisance. It honestly is. Bronny has been watching real NBA guys do it his whole life. He has been going through the exact same process, but he has not, and he needs to play a ton, but he has not played enough. The knee issue, knee swelling, that's all just the team shutting him down for a day, giving him time to rest because they know Vegas is going to be hard on him. But the actual analysis from Coach Gottlieb is, I don't see any sort of desire to be at either end of the floor a point guard or lead guard. Just kind of wants to stand over in the corner. If the ball's thrown up to him, try and go get a bucket. It doesn't mean that he won't be better in Game 2 or whenever that Game 2 is, just like Victor Wembanyama struggled in Game 1, was fine in Game 2. You're right. I'm with LeBron. I don't care about the stats, but I watched the game, and there was nothing dynamic about him defensively and offensively. You know, a couple times he got straight line drives. Other than that, it's like he gets the ball with the idea in mind, how quickly can I shoot? How quickly can I shoot? Yes, Jason Stewart.
Can we go back to what LeBron said about Bronny doesn't care what you think and or doesn't give an F what you think, which is a side note, by the way. LeBron taking what J.J. Redick said at his press conference, he doesn't give an F. That should be the Lakers' motto this season. We don't give an F because they're probably going to be like the 9th or 10th seed, right? Anyways, Bronny doesn't care what you think. Isn't LeBron a little misled here? I don't think the criticism, everything that's been written and said about Bronny, I don't think it has ever an indictment on the kid as a person or his effort or anything like this. I always thought the criticism this whole time was about LeBron, about Rich Paul, and about this system that kind of pushed this kid through who isn't really deserving. But it's never really been criticism of Bronny himself. So when he says he doesn't care, like LeBron is deflecting, right? Because the criticism has been basically targeted towards LeBron this whole time.
Well, I think there's some of that. There's a lot of it that's targeted towards LeBron. But there's a lot of it in which here's my biggest issue with his group is that reasonable analysis is called criticism. Like, okay. I mean, to me, it's you can analyze and be critical, but not have criticism. Right? There's no ability for anybody to ever improve. And like this, his whole thing with, he's got to develop. There's no chance you ever develop if you tell everybody, hey, everything he did was great. Like, nobody develops that way. Ever. Ever. What LeBron is guilty of is, many people in our business are guilty of that. Hey, I want feedback. Then you give somebody negative feedback. You're like, whoa, why are you so negative? Like, dude, you wanted feedback. Right? You wanted feedback. Either you want to get better or you don't. Everyone says they want to get better. Everyone says they want feedback. Everyone says they want to improve. But real improvement comes from people who you trust, who you respect, who've been through it, who said, like, yeah, I don't like that. I like that. This is not good. This got to be better. This is pretty good. Lean into that. But that's not how LeBron operates. Because he's been surrounded by sycophants for so much of his life, he believes that everybody should treat Bronny even that way. And while he's right, it is yet less than a year removed from heart surgery. The fact is that no other player would have been drafted in the first 2 rounds as a borderline prospect if they were coming off of heart surgery. All of those things, if you want to point to nepotism or, just unbelievable athlete advantage, that's not criticism in the purest sense. That's reality. No one else would get that opportunity other than Bronny. And he only got that opportunity because of your last name and because you pushed for it.